Our campaign spends money on food. We support Black and brown-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, printing. There are a number of things that my campaign spends dollars on.
That's Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson reacting to questions yesterday about hair and makeup costs, $30,000 being paid by his campaign, and some individuals saying it's probably not the best use of money in this instance. So what did the mayor say to some of the questions yesterday? Well, we'll get those for you here with Bishop on Air. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Chicago Sun-Times first to report this, and the headline, Mayor's pricey hair and makeup. In 1 year, Brandon Johnson's campaign has spent $30,000 on grooming. Johnson is mayor 24/7. A spokesperson says appearances matter. I think former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot said the same thing. Most of his spending went to the South Side makeup artist and West Side barbershop, was paid $4,000. And you can read the story there from the Chicago Sun-Times, breaking that out last week. So the mayor was asked about this yesterday, just after a news conference where he took a ton of questions. And of course, the question, as one person posed it, was the elephant in the room.
It'll be the awkward elephant in the room. And that is about the Sun-Times story last week about your spending of $30,000 from your campaign fund for hair and makeup. Can you respond to that and explain why you think that's an appropriate use of the campaign dollars to many people seems like a lot of money?
I think it's always appropriate to make sure that we're investing in small businesses, especially minority-owned, Black-owned, women-owned businesses. Our campaign spends money on food. We support Black and brown-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, printing. There are a number of things that my campaign spends dollars on. And I'm so committed to supporting small businesses that even as mayor, just made another announcement of another $35 million available for small businesses. That's important to people, that we lift up, small businesses that, in particular, that don't always get the attention and support that they deserve. And so we're going to continue to do that as a city, and we'll make sure that, I encourage all of you in this room, support small businesses. Go get your hair and makeup done by Black people in particular.
So the mayor seeming to really not directly address the concern about the campaign expenses there. I mean, it's his campaign, so it's not necessarily tax dollars. But listen, from my understanding, and I don't know the details of all campaign finance law, but I think there is some kind of line to be drawn when it comes to using campaign dollars for, like, clothing, for instance, or to purchase a vehicle. And sometimes people can get around that if they are leasing a vehicle instead, or I don't know how the hair and makeup works into it, but clearly the mayor not denying that his campaign used $30,000 for hair and makeup. Or that the campaign used that for associates. It was also the mayor essentially saying, yeah, he wants to support small businesses and minority and women-owned businesses. And then he diverts that and says, hey, well, no, we gotta also have city dollars support small businesses. So seeming to kind of sidestep the question and give a general response about the importance of supporting small business, but another reporter asking the mayor yesterday to respond not just to the what some see as a lot of money coming from a campaign fund for hair and makeup in 1 year, but what about those who say this probably isn't the best use of those kind of dollars?
And how do you react to those election lawyers who say it is not a good use of campaign money?
Look, if you're asking me to respond to someone's opinion, I'm not going to do that, right? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. If they don't believe it's a good use to support small businesses, Black and brown businesses, that's something that they have to deal with when they meet their maker. As far as I'm concerned, it's always a good practice to make sure that we are promoting small businesses, particularly minority-owned businesses, with a variety of services, whether it's spaces that we utilize, whether it's vendors that we utilize for food or printing or any other aspect that's important to our overall presentation. I guess just as a different perspective that I guess these particular, whoever these election attorneys are, I don't know any of them that you're referring to, but I always believe it's a good idea to support and invest in small businesses.
But who else is being billed? Your spokesman said associates. It's more than you.
Yeah, well, again, I think the most important thing here is that, we are in a position as a political committee to make sure that whomever we are investing in, whether they are providing hair, makeup, food, or any other service to our campaign, that we are working within the framework of the law, and I will continue to do that.
So the mayor, again, defending the use of these campaign dollars, not wanting to respond to election lawyers who say it's questionable spending, and how exactly, this is supporting local businesses. So clearly the mayor fielding those questions, but he also fielded questions about violence in Chicago. And here's some of what he had to respond to that question.
As long as there are shootings and homicides in the city of Chicago, or anywhere in this country for that matter, no one should be patting themselves on the back. But the fact of the matter is, the city of Chicago is not the most violent city in the world. We're not even in the top 20. And
there's truth to that. The wife and I were actually talking about this the other day, about who are the murder capitals of the United States. And Chicago pretty low on that list. When you look at the list as compiled by just artificial intelligence
that would
here,
establish reparations.
You've got the mayor essentially right. I mean, look at 2023, St. Louis had one of the highest homicide rates in the United States. It was also the 7th most dangerous city in the world due to its murder rate. The city also has high poverty rates and drug-related crimes. Other cities in the U.S. are considered dangerous include Detroit, Michigan, Baltimore, Maryland, Memphis, Tennessee, Kansas City, Missouri, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Cleveland, Ohio, and Stockton, California. So Chicago, obviously, you got to think about this is like a per capita thing, right? St. Louis, much smaller than Chicago. But if you compare the total number of homicides, you might get a different picture. But when you're talking about murder rates, obviously that's something that you got to take into consideration. Here's more of the mayor responding to some
Earlier
questions.
this month, President Joe Biden.
All right, we'll get to that one here in a moment. Here he is talking more about the violence issue.
Comparatively to other administrations, what my administration has experienced in this first year, significant reduction in homicides and shootings. And that has a lot to do with the hard work, of course, that we are putting forward to invest in people, but it also has to do with the work that law enforcement is doing. I made a commitment to hire 200 more detectives over the course of my first term. We have hired over 100. We are well on our way to meet that goal by the end of this year. But in order to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago, we have to continue to show up for the people of Chicago and invest in them. So yes, am I optimistic about what we have seen so far in the trends? Absolutely. Am I satisfied? No.
What signs are you seeing that the
again,
increased participation?
The mayor responding just to questions about the overall homicide rate. And then he was asked about the ongoing migrant crisis, and in particular, President Joe Biden's executive action that ultimately is going to, as the president said, will try to stem some of the illegal immigration. And is that something that's going to help out Chicago, regardless of Republicans saying that Biden's executive order doesn't really do much for border security? Here's the mayor's response to that.
Earlier this month, President Joe Biden enacted stricter rules at the border. Some people have decried it. Others have supported it. You're sort of straight down the middle. Do you or Chief of Staff Pacione Zayas believe this will put us in the clear of the deluge that some were expecting this summer?
Look, here's the thing. President Biden has put forth a comprehensive immigration reform package that passed the Senate. It was blocked in the House because you have Trump Republicans that were forced and told to obey him.
So it seems to be kind of the go-to, and listen, I know each part of the political spectrum has their talking points, but you hear the same type of response even from, Governor J.B. Pritzker when asked about this. So that's kind of where Mayor Johnson went. But wide-ranging Q&A yesterday from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, including questions about reparations.
That would establish reparations for descendants of those who were in chattel slavery, who were freed by the 13th Amendment. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Look, not only did we put forth $500,000 for this commission, we're staffing it. I support and believe in reparations, period. Descendants of slaves. Mark, I'm going to answer your question. Mark, you got to give me a chance to answer the question, okay? All right, let's keep some decorum here a little bit. I support reparations, right? It's going to take the full city council vote to be able to move on an agenda of what reparations should look like, right? Me supporting reparations, I need support of the city council. We also get to take this measure to the community, to people to talk about not just the harm, but what does that repair look like?
So the mayor talking about reparations as well. Again, a wide-ranging Q&A yesterday with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. He's defending his use of campaign dollars on hair and makeup, talking about Chicago violence, migration, and reparations. Figured I'd get that out for you this morning with Bishop on Air. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Contact me via email, bishoponair@gmail.com. And greatly appreciate you guys being here each and every weekday morning.